What's up, Gamecock fans? Let's get it on. Oh man, Rooster had to go on Twitter today. Why? Why did I have to go in and? I guess I just felt the need that I had to go in and get my daily dose of dumbassery. Well, I found it. I found it. Uh, but I'm not gonna. I'm not. I might start screaming, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and forewarn you now um, about some of the idiocy and plain dumbassery things that people say when they don't really know anything. They just kind of make shit up, right? They don't know anything about anything, so they just start making shit up. And it's crazy how mentally South Carolina fans have been abused since the Spurrier era because it seems like people forget anything. I mean, I get it. Some of these people didn't they don't know South Carolina football until I mean Twitter's full of 20-year-olds, and I'm not about to tell y'all that every one of them's not smart, but a lot of them remind you of why they ate Tide Pods, and it's you try to tell them things because we've gone through things as Gamecock fans. We've seen many coaches come and go. We've seen bad decisions by athletic directors on coaching hires. Sparky Woods comes to mind, and we could sit here and ramble them off. I mean, we could, right? So we try to tell youngsters the mistakes that were made at South Carolina before and the mistakes that are still being made at South Carolina. The things that remind you of things in the past. And that's what happens when we get older, right? There's things that remind us that happen now that remind us of the past. Well, if you're not old enough to know what the past is, you have nothing to feed off of. But look, we can talk about it. We're going to talk about it right now. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. So let's talk about some coaches of the past, the Sparky Woods and the Brad Scotts and all this stuff. People don't remember Brad Scott, hot name, coming in from Florida State, offense coordinator, was going to turn South Carolina around. It didn't last very long. There's just been so many names that came into South Carolina. You know, Lou Holtz had to come in, former national championship coach, won 2 games against Ohio State, bowl games. People forget that South Carolina beat Ohio State, and then they went on to win a national championship the following year. Kind of funny how that works out for South Carolina fans, ain't it? But anyway, I'm tired. I am so tired and just mentally burnt out on the South Carolina, we are what we are. We can never get better. And just the people that are so just satisfied with what's going on with the program. There are many people around this program, I can promise you, from former players to former coaches to a lot of people that cover South Carolina, that want to say things that they will not say. Because they have a connection to the university, or they want to talk to some of the coaches and players and do all that stuff. They can't say it because they will not. Steve Fink will not give them access to anyone around the program if you say anything negative about people that work at the program, at the university. It's a fact. They don't want to lose press passes. They don't really want to do all that stuff. I just want to tell people, South Carolina fans had the same type of attitude until Steve Spurrier been hired, right? We know the 84 and the chance to win and losing the Navy and what it cost us. We knew all that stuff, right? And we went through that phase of Sparky Woods and Brad Scotts, and we're like, man, South Carolina is just what South Carolina is. We're going to be right here mid-tier in the middle of the SEC until Spurrier came along. And then Spurrier, it took him a few years to get his talent in because he didn't have a transfer portal. But every year we got better. 2010, we go to the SEC championship game. And I was mad because we really should have, we had our chances to beat Auburn and probably should have beat Auburn during the season. And we would have never played Cam Newton's Auburn in the SEC championship if we would have won during the regular season. But anyway, we're not going all into that story. But Steve Spurrier showed the little bit older generation, let's say the people that are older than 25 years old, since it's 2025 and that was 2010. So Steve Spurrier showed anyone above 25 that's a Gamecock fan that it was quite possible that South Carolina can make SEC championship games and be competitive against everybody. Spurrier made it almost to where routinely we beat Florida, routinely we beat Tennessee, routinely we beat Georgia. I'm not saying we won the vast majority of games, but it became in the Spurrier era, we knew we could compete with anybody on the field. We knew it. The fans knew it. The hype was there. Well, Steve Spurrier decides to walk away. Still unknown why Steve Spurrier decided to walk away from South Carolina, but the fact is he did. It was well known that Steve Spurrier wanted to play golf. Kind of got lazy on recruiting. Didn't really want to do recruiting. And it was noticeable because the talent started going down. All the talent that he had gotten, especially the guys from South Carolina, kind of wasn't there. So then you got to extend out and go recruiting. Like everybody screamed Shane Beamer was such a great recruiter because some of the guys he brought in is like, dude, they were born in the state of South Carolina. It wasn't really that hard to recruit them into the school. It really wasn't that difficult. Yeah, I'm sure. The Jadeveon Clowney, I mean, we might have threw him a couple bucks, but Jadeveon Clowney would cost you an arm and a leg if he was coming out of high school right now. He would. But he came to South Carolina. Marcus Lattimore. We've heard the story many times from Marcus on why he came to South Carolina. It was between us and Auburn. And he decided to come to South Carolina. Mike Davis, kind of the same way. Remember, Stephen Davis played at Auburn and really pushed him to go to Auburn. He instead came to South Carolina. But today, the Gamecock fans still think, a lot of them, well, we're not going to get any better than what we are. We have to settle for what we have. Shane Beamer's the best we can get. And I try to talk to him and I try to remind him, dude, James Franklin was making $8.5 million. Shane Beamer's making 8.1. South Carolina can afford to pay coaches. This ain't the day and age where South Carolina wasn't competitive with paying. Now, do we have the biggest and largest NIL? Can we compete with Texas when it comes to NIL? No, but we can get talent out of the transfer portal. You don't have to go out and spend an arm and a leg on high school recruits. There's a lot of guys that are talented that would come to South Carolina. And they talk about coaching. Well, what other coach would come to South Carolina? Anyone that makes less than $8 million. And there's some that are better than Shane Beamer that make less than $8 million. What else can I tell you? Shane Beamer had zero experience as an offense coordinator. He has zero experience as a defense coordinator. People say, well, you got to give him time. We knew he was inexperienced. I didn't give Shane Beamer an extension. And neither did any fan out here. That was a decision that was made by Ray Turner and the University of South Carolina. To why I still scratching my head. Nobody was beating on the door to take Shane Beamer away from South Carolina. No one. So why extend him? Well, he had a 9-3 season. Will Muschamp had a 9-3 season. People say, well, Will Muschamp inherited a better team. Really? 9-3 team that lost to the Citadel? That Steve Spurrier quit recruiting? There was not much talent left on that football team. We all were there watching it. Now, you 4-year-olds that were born in 2010 don't remember that. You were 4 and 5 years old. We do, the older fans. Remember those times. So to argue with us about those times, you are going to lose because we were there, we witnessed it, we saw it. I had to tell one dumbass today, it's like, look, dude, I was at Williams-Brice Stadium, and I know some fans are older than I am, but I can remember watching Todd Ellis, Harold Green, Mike Dingle, and Sterling Sharp live at Williams-Brice Stadium. Yeah, we older Gamecock fans have been through this rodeo. But we also learned when Steve Spurrier got hired, South Carolina can compete in the SEC. The fans are acting like we're the redheaded stepchild. The fans. And you're settling for middle of the road. What are we doing? Would you teach your child to settle? I've listened to a lot of, things about the mind and how a lot of kids get trapped in a certain mindset and a lot of motivational stuff because of the way you were raised, the way you don't really take chances. You get this job. This is the way you're supposed to have this job. You make enough money. You get married. You have kids. You move on. And you just stay here. Don't take any chances. Don't do anything that could cost you. And you know what? You never become that millionaire that you dreamed about when you was a kid. You became your parents. You know that commercial on TV? Don't become your parents. A lot of people have become their parents because that's the rules. That's the way your mindset was. That's the way you were taught. Pinch pennies. Do this. Ray Tanner pinched pennies, guys. The dude was cheap. Cheap as hell. And everybody's like, well, we got Shane Beamer at $2 million because we were paying a buyout to Will Muschamp. $12 million. $12 million. Teams would they can pull that out of their front pocket and say, here, walk along, sonny. Here's $12 million. See you later. There ain't a college football or university out there right now that's on a Power 4 level that bats an eye at $12 million. That's pocket change. And a lot of people are talking about LSU and Brian Kelly and, boy, $50 million. How you handing out $50 million? What is $50 million when you're spending $500 million on a college football program? LSU probably spends $500 million or more a year on that football program. Does anyone think that the millionaires and billionaires running around LSU care about $50 million, especially since one guy's already said, hey, I'll just give you 25 of it. Y'all just come up with the other 25. That's money, dude. We think of money because we don't have it as something that's large, but the people that have it, the billionaires of this world, they don't think of $50 million that way. Just a small investment for them cats. So we got to change our mindset. We want to be champions. We want to win football games. It's like the guy wanted to argue with me, and he's like, you don't know nothing about football. I'm like, dude, I have forgotten more about football. And you can tell it's a young guy because he can't make an argument past Will Muschamp or Spurrier. What little bit he can scrap up memory-wise about Spurrier, probably. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, why am I arguing with a kid, the Tide Pod generation kid? He don't know shit. South Carolina has the money. Here's the thing. Now, I want to ask people this question, and you guys tell me, because I love asking questions. I'm very inquisitive when it comes to what people think. Everybody says, give Shane Beamer one more year. He needs one more year. Now, when you ask yourself that we're going to give him that one more year, ask yourself this. What quality or offensive coordinator that is on the rise is going to take this job at South Carolina? Knowing everything that's out there on the internet points the finger at Beamer getting one more year. So you're going to give up your job and jobs you're trying to get to come to South Carolina for 1 year with, who is quarterback? Carter Woods will be a redshirt freshman. We don't even know if Eric Nolan's going to stay. And you have Landon Duckworth, as of right now, still committed. But we retained Mike Shula. Then the kids are talking today. well, yeah, we simplified, stripped down everything. I guess the play calls and all this stuff. It's like, this is Satterfield again. How damn stupid is our head coach, who has now hired the third NFL offensive coordinator, to resort back to what we were doing with Marcus Satterfield when we knew it didn't work with Spencer Rattler? But we're hiring this guy to take on Lenore Sellers, who is not a prototypical NFL pocket passing quarterback. It ain't a Shula problem. It wasn't a Satterfield problem. It wasn't a Dow Loggins problem. It's a damn Shane Beamer problem, because he is so stubborn to try to do something that he is damn sure going to do his best to prove the fans wrong that keep telling him he's wrong. Until it got to the point that right now the heat got on his ass and know he had to do something different. I'll guarantee you the heat is on his ass. And that's why the changes were made. And that's why he's doing what he's doing, because he's trying to save his ass. Now, I don't know. Shane Beamer talked the other day about being with his family and not seeing his kids and stuff. Shane Beamer, go back. Get you a job as a tight end coach or special teams coach and spend time with your family. I it's sometimes I think, I get it. Clemson caught lightning in a bottle with Dabo Swinney never being an offense coordinator or defense coordinator. Lightning in a bottle. They gave him more time. That time you could, because you knew that the coach had to develop high school talent. He had to get his own guys that he recruited developed. That's not college football anymore. Georgia does it. Alabama does it. Some of them guys can. You know why? Because they already have talent on their football team. They already have that process rolling. We don't. We have talent, but it's sparingly talent. It's not all the parts, the sum of all the parts for South Carolina is nowhere near those guys. It's just not, because we haven't done it over time. People say, well, Beamer's killing it in recruiting. Dude, his recruiting classes ain't no better than Muschamp's. It's average somewhere around the top 20 to top 15, 20 to 25. Exact same. Hey, if you don't believe me, go look it up. There's plenty of NFL talent. I watched two Muschamp guys, Debo Samuel and Javon Kinlaw in the NFL last night, playing for the Washington Redskins. Talent wasn't an issue for Muschamp. Talent isn't an issue for Shane Beamer. Developing the talent, making it a team, is an issue for both of them. Hiring the correct coaches to win football games, not just put guys in the NFL, is what needs to be happening. Updating your offenses to what college football is now. And everybody's going to say, well, we did it last week against Alabama, but are we going to keep doing it? And then go back to ask, what young, high-rising, really good offensive coordinator is going to come to South Carolina knowing Shane Beamer is on a leash for 1 year? 1 year. You know what? That's my bitching for today. We'll see what South Carolina does. Got Ole Miss coming up. We're going to break that game down. Just remember what I said. Think about what you say before you say it. And y'all want to give Shane Beamer 1 more year? Just remember, it's kind of going to be a dead duck situation if we know he's not going to perform. And how you going to do that without Lenore Sellers? Better hit a diamond in the rough out of the transfer portal for a quarterback is all I'm going to tell you. And you better get really, really lucky on an offensive coordinator. But you know what, y'all? I love all y'all. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your night. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share the videos. Peace.